Good evening. Welcome to another Catalyst Conversations. My name is Carla. If you guys did not know, I am the founder and creator of Catalyst Project, a dual use beauty company. If you are interested, please click the link in my bio. My website launched on November the 1st, I'm proud to say. And check me out. While you're there, subscribe to the Catalyst Project community and receive a free gift while supplies last. Um, I am here tonight. We missed last week because of the election. So congratulations to President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Let's pray for a smooth transition. Hi, Black girls in Big Lots. How are you? That's young. Okay, so tonight I actually have a surprise for you all. I have a special guest, and we're going to dive into our conversation about minimalism. So come on in. I want to light my candle and get my guest on. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Y'all like my shirt?
That's cute. That's cute.
Yeah, we're gonna have those on the website soon. Hi, Black Girl in Big Lots. I am good. Ready for your live. Oh my gosh. Thank you for coming through and supporting the Catalyst Conversations. We took a little bit of a break last week because of the election, like I was saying. But for those of you that don't know, I'm Carla, the founder and creative behind Catalyst Project. Please go to the website that launched November 1st. I'm very proud of that. And subscribe to the Catalyst Project community so that you can receive your free gift while supplies last. We have a special guest tonight. This is Katria, and she's also a business owner as well. I'm going to have all of that information in the live for those that come back and look. But let me go to my notes. Tonight we are talking about minimalism, and just know that I am not an expert. I kind of found out about minimalism through, I don't know if anybody knows or heard of KonMari method. So this Asian lady who loves tidying. Um, and then I kind of did some of my own research on YouTube, and I kind of connected to that, and it was interesting to me. So I do my take on minimalism. So tonight I'm going to talk about things about minimalism that you should know. And the first thing is the desire to acquire does not go away. Buying things that you don't need and asking those key questions, which come out of the laws of minimalism. Do I need this? Do I love it? Or does it spark joy? And does it add value to my life? I know that now versus a while ago, if I'm in a store, it takes me a little bit longer to actually pick something out because I have practiced those questions. Like, do I really need this? Which brings up the whole thing about impulse buying. We could go into that. But I wanted to ask my guest, Katria, can you speak on your definition of minimalism? And also, I would like for you to elaborate on people in general and how their take on minimalism as far as the mindset, the mentality of it's about taking things away. So can
Yeah,
you give us a little? Yeah.
sure. I mean, my definition of minimalism is more about intention and um, and fulfilling the um, the needs before the wants, and then fulfilling the needs in a way that actually addresses the need. I feel like a lot of our consumption, a lot of our purchasing, spending, buying, or whatever, a lot of it can be emotional, especially when you're talking about clothing or home
Mm.
decor or even food. It can all be about fulfilling or filling a desire versus fulfilling the actual desire. So filling a desire is more about um, I'm hungry, or I need something to wear. Like, these are actual needs. We're
So
never
can
gonna.
you elaborate on the need versus the want and the process of going through actually being conscious about asking those questions?
Well, I mean, for me, it's not really. I don't really think of it in those questions. I don't ask myself those questions. The questions I ask myself are, yes, do I need it? And what is the actual desire? Like, if I see something, especially for me, it's clothing. When I see a piece of clothing and it's the same, white shirt, or it's the same black dress that I probably have three of them in my closet right now. Um, is the desire that is the need that I need a black dress, or is the need that I want to feel, I want to feel sophisticated today, or, there's something coming up and I want to feel a little classier, or whatever it is. I think that a lot of times we try to feel that desire to want to feel a certain way, or to have a certain experience. We try to fulfill that experience, or that desire to have a feeling with a materialistic thing, which is never going
Okay,
to be
so let
fulfilled.
me let me interject on that point because that brings me to we were talking about the need versus the want. Thank you, D. Allen 782 for joining. Welcome. The need versus the want. Our society has so much messaging to acquire. Okay. What are the things we can do in order to review or keep our priorities and goals in mind as it relates to not consuming, taking up space, or as you so eloquently put it, living intentionally.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just that it's that the key word is priorities. I mean,
Mm,
we're all gonna spend money on frivolous things from time to time, especially if you are privileged enough to have some some level of dispendable cash, and that could be a candy bar. And everybody is different in that way. Nobody's ever going to be, earmarking and spending their money in an intentional way with everything. But like you said, priorities is where we can start to make the harder decisions, and we can look at those priorities to guide our spending versus the momentary feeling in that instance when you're in the store or wherever you
yeah,
are,
so guys, I would like
online.
to emphasize what she said about the priority. I'm sorry, what was the end part?
I was just saying, wherever you are, whether you're in the store or whether you're shopping online, because it's ubiquitous. I mean,
Right, right.
consumerism is everywhere, even in social media now. So everything is about, getting you to purchase something.
More, more,
Yeah.
more.
It's
More,
about
more.
engagement.
Okay, so that brings me to you're going kind of in and out. Can you repeat that last part again?
Oh, I think I was just saying a lot of the platforms and the channels that we are engaging in every day, even from going to work and you'll see billboards, all of the marketing and the communication is geared towards us consuming things.
Apply
So it's
more and more and more.
yeah.
Okay, so that's good because I want to transition into, I think a lot of times people think the minimalism is just like a physical thing, or they just focus more so, especially if you're new to it, you focus more so on the things. And I want to iterate things as opposed to saying stuff because my son got me all the way together one day and he said, Mom, don't say stuff. And so he said, but rather say things because I believe that I had a revelation that when you say stuff instead of things, or maybe that person or yourself, the word stuff maybe devalues what what the object may be or what the thing may be. So let's say things. But
That's a
instead of the
smart young
physical
man.
things, yes, he is. Instead of the and so yeah, I don't say stuff anymore. I just say, okay, pick your things up and put them away, please. um but yeah, that goes into I want to transition into not just the physical things, but social media is another form of consumption and replacing buying physical things for social media when we have this extra time. And for me, I know it's a problem. Thank you for showing up, Inspiring Choice LLC. And Black Girls in Big Lots says facts, 100%. I know for me that this is an issue. I was, I use social media for work, and so unplugging and learning how to compartmentalize. When I'm on social media, I'm a little better now because I began taking a content and a planning class. And by taking the content and planning class, it opened my eyes to how much social media that I was consuming just scrolling, not with, like you said, a priority or a goal in mind, not for building my following, not for engaging, not for, engaging with folks. But so again, the process of the action, um, goals, priority, necessary. I tried an experiment that I saw on social media. A young lady said, I can't think of her name, but she was like, especially at night, she said, turn your phone on airplane mode and put it in a different room. And that lasted 2 nights for me. So I would like for you to elaborate on the minimalism and being intentional as far as social media and consuming that.
Yeah. Um, I think it's about the word is curate. So
Okay.
it's really about curating what it is that you are consuming. I don't put any type of restrictions on myself necessarily as far as like how much time I spend on social media. And I don't spend a lot of time on social media, not by, you know, how I feel. I don't think I spend a lot of time on social media. Um, but I definitely am cognizant of the types of messaging that I'm receiving. So I
Mhm.
really only follow I follow family and friends, but the people who are not my family and friends who I follow, I am very intentional about following people and ideas and art and culture that either inspired me or, I want to be affirmed by. Um, the people that I feel have something to say that speaks to where I am right now or where I want to go. So I definitely curate my feed so that when I do open up my app or whatever, and I'm only really on Instagram, when I'm opening up Instagram, then I know that it's going to be something positive or something artistic, something creative, or family. And
So again, guys, I think that is a point to which she made before. Thank you, fashionista underscore Gina, for joining, as well as Glam Bond. How are you? We're talking about minimalism and living intentionally. And so instead of the physical, now we're moving into the digital and how really it is sort of kind of an addiction for a lot of us, and it's a acceptable addiction because it's social media. And so what I have found, um, just like you, is I try to, like, I unfollowed a lot of people. While taking this planning and content class, I learned that I need to be following people that are trying to do the same thing I'm trying to do, as opposed to just having random people following me and consuming this, especially with the civil things that are going on with Black Lives Matter and everything. I made it a point, like I was looking at all these videos of Black people getting traumatized, and then I just was like, I was feeling like emotionally like drained. And so that is one of the things I will not partake in. I cannot look at any of those videos. They call it uh, trauma porn, and like you just have people dedicated, they have videos, whole pages dedicated to just showing you the so that hits your emotionally as well. So as far as taking minimalism for intentional living on a emotional or spiritual plane, this is a good reason to know about it, but also a good reason to maybe try minimalism.
yeah,
I know that iPhone has an app. I'm not fancy like y'all. I have an Android, but they have apps in iPhone, and they probably have just apps, period, for Android that will monitor your time you spend on social media, and then it'll ask you questions. Okay, you've spent this amount of time. So I think those things can be helpful for some, especially if you're just starting out on the journey, and even for people that are far along in their journey of intentional living, because you're always needing to go back to it, being consistent.
yeah.
Um, Let me see. Is there anything you wanted to say about um, that?
Um, No, I mean, I think that monitoring your social media intake and any type of media intake, TV as well, it's anything that's external. It's always going to have its own energy, its own messaging. So you really just need to be critical of what you are consuming on a daily basis, and that's where
Intention, guys.
that's where the intention comes in seeking out media or seeking out external stimulus that falls in line with your goals, and eliminating those things that don't. So it does take some discipline. Um, it does take having a sort of a goal, an outside goal,
Point
not
of
just,
reference.
yeah, point of reference, yeah, to like inform your decisions. Um, so I'm not going to tell anybody that they don't need to be following the shade room or they don't
Oh
or
yeah, no, no,
whatever
no, no.
or
You got to
whatever
do
it
what you got
is.
to do for you.
Yeah, it's
You
really
got to do
it's
what you
really
got
what
to
you
do
got
for
to do.
you.
What is your
You got to do what
goal?
you.
What is your trajectory? And, what's your path? Stay on your path and reach your destination. If these things are helping you stay on your path, if these things are helping you reach your destination, great. If they're not, it's really up to you to use discipline to remove those things. Yeah.
Right. Path and purpose. Um, I agree. Okay, so is minimalism boring? Okay.
Minimalism is
So I
not
think some
boring.
people think, they see, okay, because of the point of reference for minimalism for a lot of people, and I'm just going to say a lot of Black people, the blueprint is from a white perspective or Asian perspective. You have you have the room with one chair and one plant and a flower. And you got one outfit you can style 5 different ways.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I like the point that you made about I'm not going to tell people not to follow the shade room if that's working for you, about how I learned. Hi, CY Ward and Life Up Front. Thank you for joining. We're talking about minimalism, physical, emotional, spiritual. And so I was saying that my special guest is Katria this evening, and she made a point about not telling anybody as far as consumption of social media. I'm not going to tell anybody not to look at the shade room if that's working for them. So that brings me to the point of what I learned about that cookie cutter or cliche um, definition of minimalism that I researched and I saw all the same of. And that said to me that I need to adjust these laws of minimalism or living intentional or simple living to my life and how it fits me. So you can change the rules. You can bend and shape it to support your lifestyle, is what I'm saying.
Mhm. I mean,
Yeah.
like most things in America, the concepts are going to skew towards concepts are going to be represented and skewed towards the dominant culture. So it is going
Mhm.
to, if when you Google search yoga, you're gonna get a whole bunch of white women doing yoga when yoga has nothing to do with Western culture, not in its origination. But that's what happens when you Google minimalism. You get a lot of the same images that are created by this dominant culture or this dominant thinking. But
Mhm.
when we really break down and look at something like minimalism at the core, is really about living intentionally. It's about living. Um, it's about the getting
Can you
away.
say something to the conversation we had the other day when you said um, about clearing space and making energy and something about flowing with minimalism?
Um, well, what I was about to say was minimalism is like the opposite of excess, which we have been taught is our way of being. America, I mean, a lot of it is about excess. It's about consuming and acquiring more than what we need. Um,
Hmm.
and I think what you were talking about, we spoke about just different energy as far as
Yes.
everything that we have, everything that we look at, every physical thing that
Ooh,
we can touch and feel has its own energy and it has its own
yes.
shape and
Yes.
color, and it comes with its own responsibility as well. If you get a beautiful statue and you put a beautiful
Hmm.
statue in the corner, you spend some nice money on it, you then become responsible for that statue. You then become responsible for dusting it. You become responsible for maintaining it. And like anything in our lives, we become responsible for maintaining these physical objects. And what minimalism is about really being intentional about the physical objects that you bring into your space, because number one,
Ooh.
everything has an energy, And number two, once you bring that thing into your space, you have some type of responsibility. Now, whether you keep that statue dusted or not, if you don't keep it dusted, then you feel bad. You start to feel shame. You start to feel regret. You start to feel all of these
That's
emotions
where the
about it.
energy comes in. That's where
That's
the energy
it's
part comes in.
everything about it. It can create um, an emotional event when it's a physical thing
Mm.
that you're bringing into your space. So that's why you do need to be cognizant of the things that you're bringing into your home, um it all carries its own energy and its own responsibility. My favorite quote by William Morris is, bring nothing into your home that you do not believe is beautiful, or that you don't believe is useful, or do not believe is beautiful. So those are the requirements. It needs to be beautiful and it needs to be useful. And William Morris was a Quaker, uh, I guess he was a Quaker. What do you call it
Quaker.
when you build chairs and stuff?
Yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
woodworker. He
Craftsman,
created. Yeah,
woodworker.
he
Yeah.
was a craftsman. He was a, you know, and
But you know what?
Quaker life
That
is
is.
really about like minimalism, and Quaker life is about just having the things that you need. But I think that's just a beautiful thing for me. Just it's something that's beautiful or it's something that's useful, and ideally both.
And you can translate that into, I know a lot of you have heard of KonMari method, and she asked this question similar to the quote that she just gave. Hi, Sheena Natural Designs. Thank you for joining. We're talking about minimalism this evening. Um, the thing KonMari is a Asian young lady who likes to tidy. And much like the quote that she gave about William Morris, do not bring anything into your home unless it's useful or it's beautiful. She has similar questions. Does this spark joy? Do I need it? And then if it doesn't spark joy, then you think whatever it is that you're going to release. I don't want to say get rid of, because I think it's a whole mind shift, especially when you're talking about how things that you bring into your space have their own energy. The other day, um, was cleaning out my nightstand, and I found something like a little poem that was written on a typewriter print. And I was like, oh, wow, this just um, makes my heart smile. Why do I have it stuck up in the drawer and not in a frame or out? Because that physical thing was connected to an experience that I had, and it brought me joy. So that kind of prompted me to say, let me clean out my nightstand, and I need to release some things so that um, I can have better energy and better flow. So
And
that is
the
really, really,
thing,
really good.
the whole concept of thanking or appreciating the thing that you're releasing, the concept behind that is that, what I was talking about before, when you purchased that thing, when you acquired that thing, it was because you felt a deficit, because you felt like you needed something, and you felt like this object was going to address that deficit. So the reason you're thanking that thing before you release it is because it at some point it did fulfill, or at least
It
temporarily,
did give you
yeah,
something at
it
one
did,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But now you have to recognize that it no longer does that. It no longer serves you. And because we change every day, when something doesn't serve us and we're trying to change and grow, we need to release those things that no longer serve us and replace them, or have the absence of that thing, because maybe it was something mental or emotional that needed to be fulfilled, and we try to fulfill it with a physical thing. Maybe it was something mental or emotional, and then we have been able to release this physical thing and not have it anymore, which I think is,
Y'all,
is
this
an
is,
upgrade. I think it's an upgrade. Because
hey, this is
the
so
other thing with
good.
minimalism is, and you said, ask me about, is minimalism boring? Minimalism isn't boring because minimalism is about, um, it's also about creating and recognizing your own power, recognizing your own,
Mm,
you know, ability to fulfill all your needs.
yes.
You know,
Can you buy yourself flowers? Can you have lunch by yourself? Can you take yourself to a movie? Can you not be around because you can minimalize people, places, and things?
yeah.
Yes, you can.
So it's definitely about, yeah, finding the power within and recognizing that and practicing it as well, because it's not just a one-time thing. When you recognize your own power, it's a consistent thing, and it's a muscle that you have to flex over and over.
Russell. Ooh, that's what I have in my notes. I said that adjusting to the laws of minimalism, um, making my own take on it helps me to build my muscle of some people say purging or just more simple living or intentional with what I buy or what I consume. So everybody doesn't, anybody that wants to start practicing this, you don't have to necessarily call yourself a minimalist. You can be living intentionally, or you can do simple living. So I would like to know for you as a visual artist and also, using your hands, please tell me, do you practice creating minimalism or intentional living? For example, recycle props or materials. Does that come into your art life or space?
Yeah, for sure. I am proud of my ancestry. I'm proud of Black
Yes.
women who've come before me who have needed to be resourceful with their art and needed to be resourceful with their living. And
Wow.
so I definitely think that informs my own art and my own, um, the way that I decorate my space, the way that I live my life. It's definitely,
Mm,
it's informed by a sense of resourcefulness and the minimizing waste. So yeah, for sure, like recycling things or upcycling things. Um, yeah, is important to me, and I don't know. It just, for me, it has a little more character if it's been lived in, or if it came from somewhere. All the new stuff from the stores that I see, they are very tempting, but when you really look at them, a lot of it is just a regurgitation of what we
yeah.
had in the 70s and
Recycled.
80s. They, I mean, if you go
Recycled.
to your grandmother's house, she gonna have a vase that look just like the vase at CB2. So
Mm.
anyway, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to bring this to a close, guys. I want to thank our guests for coming on. Also, I'm going to leave a reference to her business, Club from Nowhere, in the information for those that want to come back and look at the video. And also, I'll have this information. I wanted to name two books that I haven't read, but I'm planning on at least going to the library to get one of them. Um, one of the books is called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, and the other book is called How to Do Nothing. I really need to read that by Jenny Odell. So I'll have those two
Good.
references in the information for those that want to come back and look at the video. For those that came through to the Catalyst Conversations, come back next week at 9 p.m. on Tuesday. I am Carla. If you guys didn't know, I'm the founder and creative of Catalyst Project, which is a dual use beauty inspired by transformation and self care. You can go to the link in my bio if you're interested. And also subscribe to the Catalyst community and get your free gift while supplies last. This is Katria. Her company is called Club from Nowhere, and she's also a visual artist. My creative director, she helps to do all my logos and everything with my business. And I think that's about it, guys. I thank you for coming through. This was a great, great conversation.
Thank you. Life Up
Said,
Front
what
had a
happened to
question.
just being?
Yeah,
Hold on,
he has a
we
question.
have somebody saying, what happened to just being organized and having a place for? Yes. I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the conversation, but I think a lot of people think that minimalism or living intentionally has something to do with taking away things, which it's not. If it sparks joy for you, keep it, but be intentional about taking care of it and the energy you feel from those things.
Let me just say
So with
that
that being said, okay, go ahead. You have the
there's
last word because
there's
I gotta go.
also there's there's also a practical component to all this. So when we
Okay.
talk about being organized and having a place for everything, that's all well and good. If you live in a mansion somewhere, you can be as organized as you want, and you have enough square footage for everything.
And you have
However,
hired people to keep it organized for
exactly,
you.
because again, each and everything that you bring into your home, you have a responsibility over. Whether you believe that or not, somewhere in your mind, your a little neuron is thinking about that book and it's thinking about that pen somewhere. Because we're visual, because we are interacting with our environment, we there is some part of our mind that feels responsible for that
Hold
thing.
on, don't go away. Keep talking.
So what I'm just saying about, you know, the whole just being organized and having a place for everything, that's fine and good if that works for you. Um, but the practical thing is we don't have unlimited square footage, especially in DC or these cities where you got a 600 square foot apartment for $2,000 or something like that. You don't have unlimited storage. So you really do need to be intentional about what you bring into your space, just for the practical sense that you don't have space for everything. And I think
Okay,
that
this
that is
sounds
a
very
gift.
personal.
But no,
This
that's a
sounds very
gift.
personal.
That's a gift
Okay.
because then you have to be creative and you have to be intentional about prioritizing really what are those things that you want to surround your space with. Your home
I
really,
love that.
and if we're just talking about the home thing, your home really should be a reflection of the things that are most important to you. That's what I feel, and it should be the place where you can feel your most self. So
Mm.
if you're the place that you feel your most self, I do feel like should be a place that's welcoming, should be a place there that you can do the things that you need to do without impediment. If there's a whole bunch of stuff everywhere and you can't, actually sit down and do the things that are important to you,
Or
then
think
that's a
or
problem. Or
concentrate
have a or
or
have
it's
a
causing, yeah, right,
I
right.
think that
I
that's
think
a
that's
problem.
really good. That's really, really good. And so again, I think it goes back to what you were saying about the energy and also us really journaling or writing down what are our priorities and goals for enacting minimalism or intentional living. And with that being said, good night, everybody. Look, my
Good night.
candle didn't even show up right there. I had my candle flowing because y'all know I be nervous when I come on here. But thank you all who joined. Good night. Thank you for
Good
my
night.
guest. Good night. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to Catalyst Conversations. Join me next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Good night.